there! Bob from Wisconsin Garden. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it after the show. But right now, let's just get into the show. It's kind of a long one today. I hope you'll bear with me. And, if it's not your thing, just move on along. But what we're talking about is no-till. We've had questions from time to time about using Nectar in a no-till grow. And this is kind of a general discussion of that may be interesting to you or may lead to other questions if no-till is your jam. So please watch the clip and I'll talk to you after. What do you think about doing no-till? I mean, is he talking outdoors? Is there such a thing as indoor no-till?
The act of tilling is literally breaking up the ground. So basically, no-till means when you're done, you remove one, you put a new one in, you leave it on obstructed soil.
I got
and
you.
let the biome and the living organisms in the soil balance it all out.
This is a super soil kind of situation in most cases?
It ends up being a super soil if you re-amend, but often with re-amendments you find no, don't do that there. They'd have to scratch it in, which would be considered tilling. But basically, no-till is just basically pull out, put back in, top dress teas, top dress microbes. We have a ton of people that use this in no-till situations.
Okay.
And especially outdoor because they've got giant beds. They don't have the time. They literally pull one up in the fall, add their enzymes for the winter, come right back in the spring, plant right on top of it, and then go right back to bottle feeding. Okay. So, I guess I would need to get more in depth with this individual in particular on getting in depth on no-tills. But my whole vegetable garden is pre-amended. I don't till. They're all in raised beds, and I come through once a week and top them off with things I feel they would perform better if I gave them a more soluble form. The downfall of no-till, which is really very few, but one of them is, a lot of us want to pretend like we understand what's fully happening in the soil level, and we don't at all. Even the soil scientists are just at about a 70% knowing, and that's a total pull out of my ass percentage. Yeah. They don't know everything that's happening. It's like the ocean. Yeah. It's like what we know is what we're aware of, but what we don't know could be affecting this huge piece of this, and we're reacting to this little piece we know. So it's a tough...
Well, the forest is no-till. But you'll see big meadows, and you'll see a bunch of dead trees, and you'll see stuff going on here. There's no stakes out there. It doesn't have to work. But in your garden, it kind of has to work, which makes it more difficult to have a natural system because you're just getting lucky if you happen to be in the natural right piece of soil for what you're doing.
And nobody has a piece of land that gathers every bit of nutrition and nutrient element that plants need for every single run without having a no-till. Tilling, basically, it kills your bacteria and your mycorrhiza and your fungus. So that's why if you till, you're destroying life, which then allows it to dry, which then allows it to become airborne, which then creates dust bowls. But if we don't till, and the microbes do glue the soil to the ground because they are consuming and digesting and pooping everything out into a glue, then you get a better, altogether better soil. Yeah. But it takes a long time to build that, and then even longer time to maintain it.
Well, when you go through the valley out here in the summer and you see a tractor driving through a field, and the soil, you can just see it flying away, because it's so dusty out there. And they've killed that soil. That's a very different thing than having a garden where you've dug a little bit with a trowel. So we've just talked about our opinion about no-till, but not answered his question about a no-till setup. If you were just trying to kind of with your garden, what do you do with your garden?
Like I said, I start the season by top dressing with my one shot and my microbes, and put a nice ground cover on top of that, and then I come in and I feed them off of the bottles when I feel I want to push them. I want things to happen faster. I want things to respond quicker because I can't control the soil's response time. Sure. I can't tell bacteria to eat faster or eat slower. I can't tell mycorrhiza to expand or detract. So the nice thing about having the bottle for me is that I can come in. We're in Oregon. We get this many days without a frost, and if you're not done, you're done.
Yeah, it's not done.
You got to get it done.
It's done one way or another.
I try to push it a little bit further than most will do in their gardens, but I also need my food out of it by the end of the season. For indoor, under lights, your own environment. You've created your whole environment. No-till indoor gardening isn't such a huge deal. I think the biggest mistake most indoor no-till guys, too small of pots, They get too root bound too fast.
Sure.
There is no soil left, so there's no point of no-till when you can't till it to begin with. So usually you see that in like big 100-gallon pots or larger beds indoors.
Okay. Good answer.
Okay, what do you think of that? Informative, entertaining, helpful? Do you do no-till? What do you think of no-till? Let me know in the comments. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. It's the OCG Fam Show.